where I said, okay, if the 49ers want to get into this race, in the NFC, like it's going to have to be everything, and so we'll get to the defense. But I thought offensively, special teams, they look like a playoff team to me.
Baldy, good morning. Your thoughts on Brock Purdy's, third game of the season, which is just crazy to say. This is third start of the year. All those games missed. Didn't look like him or the offense skipped a beat.
Rust? What kind of rust? There was no rust. It was amazing. Like his the way he saw the field, his eyes, his touch, like everything was there. Like he had never gone away. Like he'd been there for the first 10 weeks. It was pretty amazing to watch. And I thought Kyle did a great job of game planning and designing a lot of offense to attack Arizona in predictable coverages. But that being said, he still made all the throws. I mean, for example, the touchdown to Kittle for 30 yards, he's got Akeem Gaither-Davis. He's got him, one-on-one. He has this, massive shift, pre-snap shift right there. And they get Kittle one-on-one with the linebacker. He beat him. George's going to beat most of those guys. But the throw was still perfect. He got Christian McCaffrey one-on-one with another linebacker, and he beat him clean. And so against Cody Simon, who's a rookie, he got kind of caught up in a wash the way it was designed, and McCaffrey broke free. And but he saw it, and then he delivered good throws. So I thought a lot of the design was really good. A lot of the play action was really effective, and it was good to see. Getting everybody back, Pearsall, Brendel, like getting the guys back in there. You feel like, okay, all right. Offensively, you feel like, it's set up to go on a pretty good run here.
Yeah, I was really surprised at how good the offensive line looked and how comfortable he looked in the pocket. Did you notice anything stylistically different in what Purdy did Sunday versus maybe a game a year ago or 2 years ago? Or did he just look like old Purdy to you? Because that's what it felt like to me.
You look like the guy that Kyle and John and, Jed, like the whole group would say, no matter how good, Mac played, and he played really well. But you kept saying, well, but Brock's the starter. So when he's healthy, he's the starter. He looked like the starter. You know what I mean? Like it was decisive. There was maybe 2 or 3 balls he'd like to have back where it was a little questionable. Okay, you really put it in his arm's way. They could have had a different result. But, outside of 2 or 3 throws, I thought he was extremely sharp, Joe. And I thought his footwork, the timing with the routes, his pocket presence, I thought all that was really good.
You referenced Pearsall returning. I thought that he had an immediate impact, even though he didn't get any real targets. I think he had the one catch on an underneath check down. But you saw coverage going his way and opening things up for other players on some of these underneath patterns. What did you see from Ricky Pearsall?
So to that point, Joe, they ran a route the other day where McCaffrey was out wide. He ended up stacking with Juwan Jennings and Pearsall. And as they broke, I mean, it was literally like they all broke in line together and they attacked. And Pearsall was the deep guy. And he did. He took Buddha. He took 2 guys with him. And it opened up the window for Jennings. And, Brock read it perfectly. And it was a huge window because they kind of squatted on McCaffrey underneath. So it's a classic flood route, situation. And I thought that Pearsall, the way he ran that route, you might not get the ball. You probably aren't if 2 guys are going with, but you got to run it. You really got to, get your jets going and open that window up. And he did that. He did that a couple of times. And so I thought just seeing him out there, for a second, Joe, honestly, I'm like, who the hell is number 1? Is that Debo? Like I had to think because we haven't seen him in forever. And it kind of like, okay, no, they're getting their guys back here. Pearsall's out there. So you saw pretty early on that, yeah, he didn't get a lot of targets, but I thought he did a lot in the passing game.
Brian Baldinger here on the Morning Roast with Bononi and Shasky at this time every single Tuesday. And Baldy, there's a lot of Niner fans very, concerned and nervous heading into this game because Mac had been playing so well. The team was winning. They didn't want to ruin the momentum, I guess they had, although they had just lost to the Los Angeles Rams. Did you see a notable difference between what Brock was able to do with the offense as opposed to what Mac has done this season?
Not really, not noticeable. I mean, Mac played really well. But Arizona has given the 49ers problems. Like, now they've got better talent than they've had. But they have Nick Rallis, their defensive coordinator, has attacked them in the pressure game. And it has given them problems. It has given Brock problems before. And I thought they handled the protections really, really well when they did come with some overloads. And I thought they protected and sometimes that's the quarterback making sure everything is checked to the right protection at the line of scrimmage. Things I can't really tell. You'll never know unless, somebody sort of tells you that in the post game. But I thought his reads, the way he went through his progressions, I thought was as good as we've seen.
You referenced Shanahan a few times, and before we get to Christian specifically, I've noticed some new wrinkles. One where Kyle Juszczyk is almost like tilted as he's coming in motion. He's not set square to the line. There's all these little subtleties. Last year they did that thing where the running back would kind of shuffle, off to the side and get like a running start. And then they didn't do a lot of tosses and sweeps. I felt more in between the tackle running. I don't know if they were traps or counters. I just thought the run game looked a heck of a lot better this week than the week prior. Obviously, Arizona factors into that. Did you see those subtle differences from Shanahan's play calling?
Well, I don't even know what they call that position for Juice when he is sort of at an angle, like a 45-degree angle at the end of the line of scrimmage. But from that position, he doesn't run like a trap route. He runs kind of a bow, and it leads him into the hole with a better angle. And so I thought the combination of Juice and Kittle blocking was really excellent at the point of attack. And I thought they were really sharp. Arizona gives you a lot of different fronts. They've got, Calais and Walter Nolan's going to be a good player. They've got good play. Darius Robinson's a first-round pick. They've got the only thing missing in that whole defense was the middle linebacker, Mack Wilson. And maybe that was a big difference. They started Cody Simon, a rookie. So maybe they lost a little bit. But, Josh Sweat and these guys are good players. And really, as many different looks as they'll give you, I thought assignment-wise, they looked really good up front. And McCaffrey got some really good splits up there.
Would you stick with that kind of run game? It just felt like they got away from the outside zone stuff and went more inside. Would you stick with that for the rest of the year? Has that been more effective for them? Because it's the Atlanta game now and then this game, and it just feels like their offensive line responds and the running back responds better to those play calls.
Well, they play Carolina this week, and Carolina is really big inside. Derek Brown is as good as any defensive tackle in football. Ashawn Robinson, they got some beef in there. That might not be the best way to attack Carolina, honestly. It's got to be a week-to-week thing. But I thought it was really effective against Arizona. That kind of gives you these, it's a gap defense like all defenses, but the way they get to the gaps, I thought the 49ers disrupted it. I thought getting Brendel back, getting, the left guard back now for a couple weeks in a row, I thought they played very cohesive up front. The thing that was really, I say this every week when I'm sitting in these film rooms, Joe, and, they attacked with 19 seconds to go and a half, and they got a field goal. You have to take advantage of every possession in this league right now. They kicked 2 field goals, Joe, in the last minute of the first half. Those 6 points now, it was a blowout win, so everybody looks at that. They had 2 possessions. They scored 2 field goals. Forget about the fact that we actually saw great special teams for the first time in my life watching San Francisco. Opening kickoff, 98 yards. We haven't seen that. It was a really good designed kickoff return. There was a couple things in this game where I said, okay, if the 49ers want to get into this race, in the NFC, it's going to have to be everything, and so we'll get to the defense. But I thought offensively, special teams, they look like a playoff team to me.
Baldy, it's a good point. Brian Baldinger joined us here on the Morning Roast, courtesy of the River Islands guest line. I'm watching so much bad football lately. The Arizona Cardinals are bad. And, they have a lot of injuries. They have all the excuses in the world. The Niners do too. I was watching the Raiders last night, and God love me, I've been a Raider fan for a long time, and it's tough, Baldy. It just organizationally, top to bottom, it's been a dumpster fire. And I have so much appreciation for this 49ers season because top to bottom, there's been no excuses. Oh, you lose your quarterback for most of the season. You know what? We have a backup that we trust. We have faith in. We're going to still win games. Oh, we lose Fred Warner. We lose Nick Bosa. We don't have Brandon Ayuk. They have all the excuses built in. If they wanted to have a bad year, no one would bat an eye nationally or even locally. Say, you know what? It's a one-off. Let's get them next year. Yeah. They're 11 weeks into the season. They are a playoff team when it feels like they have no business being a playoff team. That just speaks, I think, to Kyle Shanahan, Robert Saleh, Brant Boyer, special teams coach. Like, he should have strong consideration for coach of the year, Kyle Shanahan, in my opinion.
I'll give you an example of what you're talking about. So there's only one Fred Warner in this whole league. Like, I still get emotional just talking the fact that Fred's not out there. But here comes Taylor Bethune, all right? Really good player, playing great football, gets hurt. Curtis Robinson comes in. Like, he pops that ball loose, him and Upton Stout, at the goal line. And there's Keon White, like, doing what he's supposed to do. Go chase the ball, get to the ball. And he gets to the ball, and they recover it at the 3-yard line. Like, you're seeing guys take advantage of their opportunities right now. And that's coaching. And that's preparation. I guess if I had to, it's 11 weeks, and nothing has been accomplished yet. But it is really hard not to look at what Robert Saleh is doing to this defense right now. It's amazing what he's done. And he was the one that probably went to bat for Bryce Huff. Keon White fits in with how they play. To see Alfred Collins play like he did, and CJ West and these young kids, like, just scrapping. I mean, I can't say that they're uber talented or they even know what the hell they're doing. They're scrappy as hell, though. Like, they're jumping over piles. They're getting off blocks. They're chasing to the football. It's fun to watch them play defense because that's not a terrible offensive team. I know Marvin Harrison wasn't out there and the running backs, but still, like, they shut them down. And so it's fun watching a lot of these kids that people probably don't even know, what the name on the back of the jersey is, but to watch them go play, it's pretty impressive.
So you referenced that defensive line, and it just felt like they couldn't get home and hit Brissett really at all in that game. But they are trying hard. What's the more dire unit right now as you view the defense as a whole? Is it the defensive line has just got to get after quarterbacks better and win one-on-one matchups? Or is it this young secondary that feels very hit and miss right now in coverage?
Well, you always worry about coverage, Joe, because, if you either break down or you're not sound, you give up points in this league. And now they got to marry themselves together, but you always worry about how they play the ball in the air because we see these ridiculous pass interference penalties every Sunday watching these games, and you just give them first downs and field position. So you do worry about that, but I think, Galmador is playing outside. I always thought he was better inside, but he's going outside with Green on the other side. He played really well, I thought. And so then you're looking, at what you're doing on the inside right there. And I thought, they played pretty sound. You see, takeaways are like few and far between, but they get 3 of them in this game. They get 2 interceptions. That's always good defense when you're taking the ball away.
What did you make of the McBride, Renardo Green dust up at the end of it looked like the Niners were going to get a stop on 3rd down, and after the play's over, they're kind of going back and forth, and both guys are jarring. Renardo Green is kind of the second guy, if you will, in the fracas, and he's the one who gets the penalty. He gets benched on that drive. What did you make of that?
I didn't really understand it. Okay, so McBride gets hit out of bounds, whatever. He gets up and he does whatever. Like, I didn't really understand the fracas, to be honest with you. I mean, these sideline plays happen all game long, and McBride is as tough as they come. He's a great player. But I didn't really understand the need to go overboard in that situation right there. I didn't see anything that instigated it.
Yeah.
Brian Baldinger here on the Morning Roast. So, Baldy, we've seen this version of Brock Purdy. I don't know what it's going to be next week on Monday Night Football against the Panthers, but if we get that version of Brock that we saw on Sunday the rest of the season, does that change at all where you stack the 49ers and that offense within the NFC playoff picture?
Well, look, I mean, you just look at the 3 games they have in front of them, Carolina, Cleveland, and Tennessee. I mean, they're going to be favored in all 3 of those games. I mean, you could conceivably, if he plays well, at least as well as he just did, that they're going to be at 10 wins. They're going to be at 10 wins. They're going to be sitting there at 10-4 with 3 games to go. Like, that's a playoff team. Now, where do you go and who you match up with? But, like, they've got the whole season right in front of them right here. And all Brock has to do is, honestly, if he played, like he threw for 200 yards, nobody's going to get wowed about that. But he had the touchdown throws. He finished the drives. They got the matchups they wanted to do it. The second touchdown to Kittle is a good read. I mean, they got 2 in cuts there. They're throwing a bunch of cheese at the underneath coverage of the Cardinals, and Kittle takes his corner to deep water and breaks it off, and it's a great throw. It's a good design. He got a lot of real estate to work there. It's not a difficult throw, but he made it. So he saw it. So I feel good. I feel good about the fact that I thought Brock saw the field very, very well, and he made all the throws he needed to. Would you like maybe more deep shots? Yeah, probably, but it wasn't necessary. Like, they had control of the game early. So, but I think as Ricky gets into this offense, he's going to be their deep threat. They'll find ways to take shots to him because this offense, it's almost like, honestly, Kubiak, Shanahan, McVay, they all have a similar philosophy in that you need speed in the offense to really stretch defenses, to open up windows, to keep the safeties honest. And I think, like, Pearsall is the one guy that might be able to do that in this offense.
You think they still got a shot at the NFC West, Baldy?
I just the way the Rams are playing right now, I don't think so. But unless, something happens, I don't want to even say any name, unless something happens to a really key guy for that team, like, I think they have everything going for them right now. Like, they really affected Sam Darnold the other day, got him to turn the ball over quite a bit, and Seattle still had a chance to win. They're a very, very good team. But I feel like the way the Rams are playing, they have everything it takes to kind of finish this thing out.
How are you viewing Christian McCaffrey's season? And then what do they do to try to keep him fresh if they do get into the playoffs? Or does that just go out the window and you got to just exhaust all options getting there?
I'm a fan of taking my running back out of the game. I mean, it's 35-10. Maybe they could come back. Maybe. They got to show me that they can come back. But I'm like at least spilling them a lot more. Getting Robinson out there. I might not say go put the baseball cap onto him at 35-10, but I'm certainly going to give Robinson more touches. Like, you need Christian fresh down the stretch right now, and as fresh as can be. Now he's coming on. He's giving you everything he's got right now. We're not seeing the big runs, but we're seeing the guy ran a route the other day at wide receiver, like a 15-yard comeback. Like, that guy could be a starting wide receiver in this league.
And high pointed the ball.
Like, the guy knows how to run a route. Like, it's, he's going to lead the team in receptions. Who knows? Who knows how many he's going to get? He could get 100, but I try to keep him as fresh as I possibly could, these games, like, this stuff is going to start piling up, and you start getting over 300 touches, and that's coming. Like, you got to start thinking about that, especially in games where you got total control.
I mean, that's why we have you on every week, Baldy, at this time. We got to keep you fresh. We can't have Baldy every single day. Yeah. Can't be doing that. Hey, good stuff. We appreciate it, Baldy, and we'll do it again next week, man.
Okay, you got it, guys.